Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Yes. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another late tackle. Yes, I'm your boy T-Gut from Sports Down the Middle, and there you have it, Mr. Eddie Guna from Eddie Vision. Eddie, what's going on, boss?
Yeah. We're here, man. Another late tackle. Not
a late tackle.
Yes.
Well, so a lot of things been happening in the football circle. Yeah, man, a lot of things. I know you guys haven't seen us for what? 2 weeks, Eddie? It was 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's about 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. And a lot of things happen. Whole lot of things. 60-man provision squad drop. Yeah. And then we have, after the 60-man provision squad drop, we have the Unity Cup squad drop. We have the coach coming out. Coach get corner. Boy, Rasta, I don't know. Yo, it's been drama after drama after drama. Yeah. But guess what? Eddie, tell us what are the hot topics today?
All right, you touch on some of them about you never touch on the JPL champions, CAVALIER.
Oh wow.
Eating Mount Pleasant, the big bad Mount Pleasant, on penalties last night.
Look.
So kudos to CAVALIER, the whole entire organization. Mr. Speed, big up yourself.
You got Mr. Speed.
Dennis Chung, rumor said Dennis Chung going to leave, going to touch a little bit on that. And what are the implications to the JPL to football if he leaves? What will happen? Yeah, and the Unity Cup squad and the fallout surrounding the naming of the, as you said, the 60-man squad along with the Unity Cup.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes, and some people drop out and all of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Being exposed. Coach just exposed himself. We don't know.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
John. Why?
Don't know.
Never pretty.
Never pretty at all. But tell the people we're here to discuss. Yeah, and you tell us your thoughts. And you know when you come in, just hit the thumbs up button so people know that we're here. You understand? Hit the thumbs up button, people know that you're here. Share the video. You understand? Go and tell a friend. So say Eddie and T-Gun is back on the YouTube space, creating up and making up a lot of noise. Yeah, man, we have discussed it. We see a lot of YouTubers coming out talking about it. So it's our time to see our life. You understand? Our time to say, yo, what is going on. So guess what, Eddie? Let's kick it off with CAVALIERs. We're supposed to have a guest. You understand? We're supposed to have a guest, but we're waiting.
Special guest.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a special guest. We're waiting. I sent him the message, so we're waiting for him to respond. I have not responded as yet, but we're going to wait. So let's kick it off. CAVALIERs, were you at the match last night?
No. I choose to spend time with the family, you know.
Okay, all right, cool.
So a little bit different. But I watch a game thanks to Sports Max.
Yes, thanks to Sports Max. I watch it from here. But
yeah, to Arnett Gardens.
Arnett Gardens. Clubber. Clubber.
4-2.
Jesus. 4-2. Clubber.
So they will qualify as well.
Without the national striker, Warner Brown.
Yeah, leading goal scorer.
Leading goal scorer.
Golden boot winner.
Golden boot winner. Yeah. Was there. He was resting for the Unity Cup, you may say.
He looks so he's not injured, right? He's not injured.
Yeah, he's not injured. Resting for the Unity Cup. I think the
which
team
is smart. Which is smart.
Which is smart. Yeah, which is smart. You understand? Which is smart.
We say what happened to Busy.
Yeah.
Going down there. Never looked pretty at all. He was stretched off the field.
I hope he's getting better. I hear that contact was made. With him, and he was I hear that he was okay. So I don't know. I don't know if he still made the trip. Would you think it's wise for him to make the trip?
Because he was supposed to travel today, you know.
Yeah, well, you think it's wise for him to make the trip?
If he's 100, but if just for the experience. Because if he's not going to play, would the JFF get a replacement at this late stage?
Of course, I think there are a lot of people.
I could make it.
If he's fit, was Anderson name in the side?
Who?
Anderson. Anderson was the name in the side.
Which
I think they're Kieran Anderson.
No.
Our replacement is there. You understand? Was Ravel name?
I would still make him travel.
Was Ravel name in the side?
No.
A lot of replacement.
So it's sad. It's sad to hear what happened to business still.
Oh yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. You understand this opportunity. We don't know what will we don't know what will happen. Maybe he will still go.
Travel.
Yeah.
Play for the second game.
And just play for the second game. Hopefully
that's it. Watch the 31st or so.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
He's not badly injured. We could see him that we don't know the status of his injury or whatever. We don't know how serious it is, but
definitely.
Hopefully we get an update.
Yeah, hopefully my guest can tell me what is going on if he comes on. You understand? Hopefully he can tell me what is going on. I'm going to give him a ring and say if he can just jump on, give us a quick update and stuff. So I'm giving my guest a ring. Yeah.
And people
can jump on now.
People, big up on yourself now. Who is in the chat? Let me know. I see King Expert, big up yourself. Who is in the chat? I see now.
Just jump on them.
People not talking as yet. Knock up the live. Remember to hit the like button. Subscribe. What's going on? Thoughts on the game? Tell us about the game, the JPL final yesterday, the super final. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, man, jump on with the phone, man. You can't use on the phone. Yeah, just jump on with the phone. I tell you the link on the phone.
You got you not muted. You don't want to. Duklan is here. Big up Duklan.
All right.
David is in the house.
All right, hold on. You hear me, Eddie? I said we can use the phone and see if we can talk. All right. Go talk to speak.
Yeah, man.
You hear me, Eddie?
Loud and clear.
All right, you're loud and clear. All right, gentle people, we have in the building the champion, the champion coach of the JPL, Mr. Speed. You understand? Back-to-back champion. 5 final, 3 championship, back-to-back championship. Want to congratulate you, sir. Sports DTM and also Eddie Vision TV want to congratulate you on your recent success of winning the Jamaica Premier League. Tell us how you feel.
Well, it's not so much feeling, it's just that we know we have to do this type of job, and it's just a job well done. Everybody like when a plan come together, So we had a plan, we stick to it. We're battling on a lot of different fronts, and we're just happy, when the plan comes together.
Okay, good, beautiful. All right, so we know that you're going into the league. You had a plan. Know that you're not going to top the zone, and you save your best game for last. I think the strategy has been working for you well. You understand? What if they change up the format next season? What will you do?
We play by the rules.
Right.
So we take up the format, so we have to go in front and stay there.
Okay.
So, over the years, remember, it's been like second, always close to the leader. It's just that this year, based on the amount of games that we played, 97 or 98 games in 1 year and 10 months, it was just pragmatic. Plus, I lost 8 players from the team last year, 6 starters. So I had to be pragmatic, and just waiting long in at the end, it's like, you get try to burn out yourself when it's necessary, just waiting long in at the end and make the run that time. But that's what we did. But if it was a different scenario,
right,
we just have to deal with it.
So what them say work smart and not hard, and that's what you did. Work smart.
Now we have to work hard too. And the final, we were able to match them tactics wise and break up what they're trying to achieve. But the truth is we just never have the legs to execute. That is why I think we'll go to 120 minutes.
Yeah, Mr. Speed, were you playing for penalties?
You hear that question, Mr. Sarsfield? Eddie asking if you were playing for penalties.
No, but we're trying to win. But if you notice in the game, we got 2 12. We can't play for penalties. We got 2 penalties that we should have gotten during the game, and we didn't get them. But at the end of the day, when you realize you struggle like what we did, we couldn't press the ball high up the pitch because we never have the legs. We're sitting our own half. Just give them just enough possession so they would think that they're dominating, because they are like about 53% possession and trying to work so them get careless. So we just give them enough possession for them to think that they're dominating, and then we just make life hard for them because, I mean, we just didn't have a leg to play in our normal transition game. But if we made life hard for them, and then we get 1 or 2 instances like the ones that we got and should have gotten probably a penalty, and we got another good chance with King missing the 88th minute. So it was just one of those minutes, and we're not going to go behind. And if it comes to penalty, then it's also a way designed by the people in football to win a game, not us design it. So we just play by the rules. If that's how we can win, that's how we're going to win. If they were, freaking coin, we'll find a way to win that.
Definitely. You're
ask them about the 2 youngsters in put on to take penalties, James and the other guy.
Yes, Eddie was asking about the 2 youngsters that you put on to kick to have that big duty kicking penalties. You understand what was behind that?
And the truth is, a lot of our players were tired, leg weary. They said as much, but we have some players that them don't really care what type of age they are. They're full of confidence. I don't believe that they're supposed to lose anything when they play. So I was worried. And in training, they showed that they could knock penalties in. So it wasn't a big decision to put them in. It was easy.
I know that Eddie asked if you guys were trying to go to penalties. Did you have any penalty session during before the game?
This is CAVALIER you're talking about, we're prepared for everything.
Okay.
Even the ones that we don't get. But the last time in Mobile, we didn't get one, and they counter us and score against us against the runner play. So this time, we're prepared for anything. So, look, you're prepared for everything. So, we're prepared for penalties. So, yes.
Definitely. All right. So, final question before you go, because I know you tell me that you're going. Your player, Busy, went down. You understand? Yeah. What's the latest report on Busy?
Well, he's breathing normally and seems to be okay, but we're not taking any chances.
Right.
We're monitoring him for about 48 hours before we make him play any other football. So that's what we're doing now. So we put a monitor on him to monitor his heart rate and those type of things, just to make sure that he's okay. So as soon as the time expires, then we will decide if we can double and play the unit to come.
Okay, so he's going to make the trip.
No, we're not making him travel to. He's gonna.
After you watch him.
The morning.
Okay, so okay. That's a good one. I hope this is just unlucky for the footballer. You understand, to parry his skill. That's very unlucky. I really hope that things work out for him. You understand? Because he had a good season. And this would be a nice reward for the player. Yeah, to showcase and say if he could have, somebody could see him.
I went to put it on him, so I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I was saying that I hope the youngster had a good season, and this would be a good way to reward him, by playing overseas, and somebody could see him and he gets snapped up. You understand? So I hope he can.
I mean, people don't realize how incredible good he is,
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, we saw it. Over the last couple of games, I really said, because I got a chance to watch some of the games on Sportsbox and when CAVALIER is playing, especially these games. I saw it and I see that he's really good.
I'm talking about his numbers.
Okay.
15 assists in the Premier League, 5 assists in the Caribbean Cup, 6 goals in the Caribbean Cup, and he has 13 goals. Do you realize that it's a 2020 season? He has 20 assists and 20 goals. That's just uncanny.
Right.
For a Jamaican player to live that consistency. And he hasn't played all the games that we have played. He has probably missed about 10, 12 games.
Okay.
That's the type of numbers that he puts up. He's really voted the best player in the Caribbean for a reason. He actually is.
Definitely. Speed, we have CC, CT Sports Lab. I don't know if you have a question for you. CC, do you have a question? Speed is on the move. You have any question for him? You're muted, CC.
Oh no, man. I was just saying congratulations, coach, on winning your 3rd title in 4 years. I mean, I know we all know, not me per se, but you know that feeling.
You know,
yeah, man, he's here, yo.
Oh no, I was saying congratulations.
No, go ahead and repeat the question. I'm not hearing.
Okay, he was saying, all right, sorry, Speed. He was just saying congratulations. You understand? On another victory, winning 3 in 5. You understand? Back to back, you know, the usual. You understand? So that's it.
Thanks.
Yeah, he said much respect.
The question I was asking is now that the season has wrapped up, in terms of what are your plans looking forward to the next Caribbean Cup and possibly even the trying to go back to the Champions Cup?
All right, he said now that the season is wrapped up, what are your plans for the Caribbean Cup and possible for the CONCACAF Championship?
Well, I don't know. Let's finish up some interview till about Monday, and then I take a vacation. I don't want nobody call me ask me nothing about football.
You better keep your phone because it's Tegan call you with the answer. But anyway, we not call you. You deserve a vacation, sir. You deserve it.
Yeah, man. As soon as about the middle of June, I'm back to work, man. I'll be there now thinking about. Remember, we might lose some players, so I really have to rebuild. Last year, I lost 8 players, and then we have to rebuild. So I know that it's a rebuilding process all the time. So in about the middle of June, I'll sit down with the manager, look at whose contract is where, when they expire, what kind of pieces we have to do if we need to do anything to be able to compete next. It's in the works, but not right now. We're just trying to get a little break. And also you might find people want to come across to your club too. So all of that is in the mix, but we won't make any decisions until June. Middle of June to the end of June.
Definitely. I know that you got your work cut out for you next season, because I think definitely you're going to lose some of your good players next season. Understand? I feel like Mr. King would be on the move. I feel like Calvin would be on the move. I feel like Saleng would be on the move. Yeah, a couple of your good players. I just feel like because these guys have a lot of good talent. So I feel like these guys will be on the move. Are you prepared to let them go and get better players in? Are you still there?
Every year we lose at least 4 or 5 of our top players, but
yeah,
we just find a way. We have a nursery. We have a lot of young players that are just camping on the.
Ask him if he had a discussion with Tapa after the game. What was it?
We need to just focus them, but for them they'll go tell and look somebody.
Okay. Okay. So what was the question again, Eddie?
Ask him if there was any discussions with the other coach.
Okay, Eddie was asking if there was any discussion with the other coach, with the Mount Pleasant coach, Tapa.
One team.
Yeah, if you have any discussion, he was asking.
Did he congratulate you on the win?
No, him tell me congratulations. When the game finished, Ferguson also told me congratulations. Well, nobody from the management has said anything, but the coach was very graceful, and they came over. He told me congratulations, and yeah, and that was that.
Okay.
I mean, there's mutual respect between both of us. They are very good at what they do. And very worthy opponents.
Yeah.
I will really have to pull out all the stops. Just with a little luck. That's the way you care of these titles.
Definitely. And we know that you guys may meet again in the Caribbean Cup. You understand? And possible, to decide who is the champion of the Caribbean.
We hope so. I'm happy for them if they come to the final.
But definitely. All right, Mr. Speed, I know that you're on your way and safe journey wherever. And glad you could come on and would be with us today. And have a wonderful vacation, sir. You deserve it. You understand? You deserve it. You deserve it. So I hope your team. I wish your team all the success again for next season, and hope you can bring down another top-notch club again in the stadium. Pull up the stadium. You bring down Inter Miami. So I hope you can bring another top-notch one. So have a good time, sir. Big up yourself. Understand? And much respect to future speed. Big up yourself. All right, gentle people. That was Mr. Speed. You understand? That was Mr. Speed on his way on his vacation. You understand? Having a wonderful time. Eddie, so that was out of the box. What next?
Yeah, people want to think because I thought you watch a game, Tiga?
Yeah, watch a game. Yeah, man, 90 minutes. Minutes we get watch a basketball game. I watch it.
It was a very boring game for me.
Very boring. It was. If you look at it, I think Mount Pleasant had all the shot.
Better chances. Yeah.
Better chances. You understand? And one shot was only placed by CAVALIER. You understand? I guess it's just the throw of the dice. The throw of the roll of the dice. You understand?
Yeah.
Roll of the dice.
Mount Pleasant very unlucky.
Yeah.
Very, very unlucky. I think they wanted to win more. They took more risk.
Yeah.
That CAVALIER defense too tall, as usual.
Right.
Very experienced backline with the likes of Leng and King around there.
Yes, so, definitely.
The game never really eat up until the penalty kicks, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you don't know. The game wanted a goal. I think that the game, yeah, it wanted a goal. It was dry. It was like a drought. You understand? And they wanted a goal. They wanted a goal, and it never came. But they had to wait until penalty. They just to look up the dice. You understand? It's a speed. They first kick where we think it's all over, and then we have Thule McClaren come and kick with his. You understand? And then the keeper did his. You understand? Just look at the dice. Just look at the dice.
You think overall both Mount Pleasant deserve it? Did the better team win the final?
All right.
Based on everything. Based on the league and everything.
Yeah. If you look at the league, if you look at the
body of work.
Overall, you would have said Mount Pleasant deserved to win it. But Mr. Speed just said in the thing that they know the format. You understand? And they do just enough just to qualify for the playoff spot, and then they throw everything at it. While Mount Pleasant was throwing everything at it, they finished off with 21 points. You understand? From earlier, they do what they had to do just to be in the playoff position, and then they do what they have to do. You can't blame the man. You understand? You can't blame the man.
I think the format needs to change.
Yeah. Honestly. But I remember one season, Harborview, they came sixth.
And they
win it. So guess what? Team is going to play smart now. Just want to reach there. You understand? When they reach there, you just throw everything out at it. All right, so let's go in the chat and big up some people. You understand? Let's start from the beginning. King Expert. Understand? Big up yourself. Duckland, big up yourself. Understand? Thank you for joining. Duckland. What is for free?
Me do it. And people, if I just join in, you missed the interview with the JPL winner, Rudolph Speed. You missed that small interview if I just join. You can watch it back on the replay. Big up Conrad Collins question in the house. I said Gunners, big up yourself. Big up Balak. Jelani Roper, big up yourself. Jason Gona TV, big up yourself. People subscribe to the Gona. Who else now? Conrad Smith, big up yourself. Cranky in the house, RR, big up on yourself. Greg, Leroy, you understand? Big up on yourself. You got your freeze up. Bad Gaza, big up yourself as well. Toppy Rudy, Texican as usual. King Expert. Everybody that? Alright. T got what happened? Alright, people, T got freeze up a little bit. So we're going to continue the discussion with the JPL. Let me know, as I said before, it's a very boring final. I thought the better team lost in Mount Pleasant, but that's how football goes. You know, always get what you want at the end. Cavalier very fortunate to win it on penalties. You know, when you reach penalty, anything goes in a penalty shootout. Cavaliers got the luck in the end, a second year running, winning on penalties. And, you know, you have to big them up for that. You know, pulling through. It's never easy to take penalties. And they did it once more, showing the steel and the grit to come away with another victory in this big super finals, JPL final. You know what I mean? Big up to the Arsenal women's team winning the Champions League, beating Barcelona. I have to mention that earlier. Beating Barcelona. It's a JC Gona and Cranky, champions of Europe. You know what I mean? We are take anything in there. We're going to take that. We're going to take the Champions League victory from the girls. We're going to take that. Big up on the separate Arsenal ladies. So T got too forward back, people. I don't like the big up screens, but we're going to work with it. What else now? CC. We're CC now, people. Anyway, people, there's a poll. Let me know what you think. At the end of the day, we never want to play the Unity Cup. That wasn't on the books, but we have a Unity Cup to contest. Let me know if you think, if the coach can win it, if all will be forgotten as it relates to the exclusion of Ravel Morrison. Can this be removed from our memories? If the coach happened to pull off and get a trophy, people, let me know. There's something I was thinking about. We've never won the Unity Cup before. It's a very prestigious cup. If you want to look at it, it has some amount of history. It has some amount of history, to be honest. When last we win a cup, you know, you can go back to the glory days of the Shell Cup, the Caribbean Cup, and all of that. We still have decent opponents in the African teams to go against in the final, if we make the final. Jason Gona, we're not going to discuss that right now. Because what I noticed doing that, I did the same for Flemo, and nobody asked any questions. So I'm just wondering why you're asking about Ravel Canbo, but not Flemo. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? What's the difference though? And what Cranky saying no about? People, the link is there. The link is there. I can make figure at you guys. What do you mean levels, Cranky? No, it's a trophy. It's a trophy. We do.
Yeah, people. Hello? Walk on. People, sorry about that. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. You understand? I am not at home. So see with me and the thing. So you hear me, CT?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but I just a while ago I was wondering what happened because I didn't see Eddie.
The thing went off. Eddie. All right. Eddie got knocked off. Sorry, people. Sorry, people. I must apologize. It's on my side. It's definitely on my side. I'm not at home. Yet, not at home, and I tried to set up. And yeah, this is what happened. The internet is unstable. So I must apologize for Guna TV, but it is on my side. It's definitely on my side. So I apologize. Eddie, you're back. I'm not hearing you, Eddie. You're muted.
Yeah, people, JPS kicked me off a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, Eddie get kicked out by JPS.
JPS kicked me off a while ago. Sorry about that, folks.
I apologize. We apologize. We're back again. So anyway, so let's jump into the other topic, Eddie. What's on? What's the next topic? Can we go into
the squad, you know?
Let's go back. Let's go for the squad. Hold on a second, my people. Let's go for the squad. I hope this stuff frees up my computer again.
Yeah. Jason, let me talk to you after about that.
Hope this stuff frees up the squad.
Me think good, man. Me think good. We don't have nothing to worry about.
All right, so let's
bring up the Unity.
Yeah, let's bring up the Unity squad of people. Share the screen. Windows. Here we go. There we go. That's the Unity Cup squad. All right. So we have in goal Shaquan Davis, Benjamin Williams, Tafari Chambers, defenders Richard King, Miss Olgate, Dexter, Lindy Kisa, Kyle Ming, Amari Bell, Greg Lay, Stefan Young, midfielder Isaac Aiden, Casey Palmer, Brandon Cover, John Russell, Daniel Green, forward, Dwayne Atkinson, Ronaldo Cephas, Warren Brown. I can't see the other name. What's the other name?
Roman Borrell.
Roman Borrell. I think that's Roman Borrell and Tyne Dixon. So do it forward. And Javan East is there. Yes, and Javan East. Yeah, definitely. So thank you. Dwayne Atkinson, Ronaldo Cephas, Warren Brown, Dixon, Borrell, and East. You understand? So that's the lineup. That's the lineup for the Unity squad. All right, let's go. CC, what's your take on the Unity squad?
In my take on the Unity Cup squad is that I think the coach would have picked some players that he would have said available based on his conversation in the press conference. Some of the players that he would like to pick are not available. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to look at it and say, boss, are you with squad? But if a player is not available, who are you going to pick? And unlike some other teams, it's not like you can pick 10 players or 11 players. You have to pick 23 players. As a matter of fact, the coach had picked 21 players. Then he added, I think, Sule Makala, which is a late addition to the squad. I'm not sure if there's going to be another addition. But based on the press conference, you would have realized that the coach would have picked some players that I think, as he said, his hands were tied. And it was all the players that would have been available right now to his liking. There are some players that I see, like some new players I saw in the provisional squad for the CONCACAF Gold Cup that I would have liked to see in the Unity Cup. But when I look at it, I guess not picking those players might be down to the players not really having the documents as yet. I didn't see anybody really asking about the documents because I guess everybody was into the Ravel mania, so nobody really paid attention to the 6 players that are on the provisional squad that didn't make it to this Unity Cup squad. I think Roman Burrell is the only one who made it to the squad of those 7 new recruits. Whether like Gennaro Johnson, Tyrese Hall, I think Tyrese Campbell, Malik Matasil, Dimitri Mitchell, Louis Baker, those players. Nobody really cared to ask the question about those players. I think everybody else was caught up in Ravel Mania. So for me, it's a pretty decent squad. We just have to go out there and see if 1 or 2 of these players can really put up their hands in the air and say, oh, we are here for the World Cup squad and even for the Gold Cup squad. The coach would have said he has his World Cup squad set in mind. I mean, a lot of people would think that means he already picked the squad. But if you're going into back-to-back tournaments, you're coming out of Unity Cup, you're going into the Gold Cup, you're going into World Cup qualifiers, I would think you would have an idea of the players that you would want to choose, and I think that's what the coach meant. He has an idea of the players that he wants to choose. However, players that are playing in the Unity Cup, it doesn't mean that they don't have a chance to make the squad for those other tournaments. What it means is that they have a chance to make the squad, but he would have already have some players in his mind. So for me, it's one of those things, as I said, absolutely true. If look at it like this, Eddie and Tigat, a lot of persons are at the press conference. So if what I'm saying is not fact and people are there asking about the other players not being included, then fine. But nobody really asked or cared to ask about that. They were just caught up about Ravel. And yes, we would like to see Ravel in the team. But I mean, if we're going to ask the coach a question and then the coach is going to give a certain type of answer, I just think there's other players that we could have focused on and asking about. But that's just me, and other people have other thoughts.
You know anything about the Burrell guy?
Oh, the one that said Roman Burrell. I think when the name came in the listening, the provisional squad list, that's when I went and watched some highlights. But I've never really watched him play outside of that.
So he's a mystery, and maybe the only one with a passport at this time. Out of the 7 that they named the newcomers, maybe he's the only one with a passport.
Yeah, but I'm saying we wouldn't even know that if we don't ask. Like, for example, asking the coach that some of the players that we see named on the provisional squad, are there any players on the list that does not have the requisite documents to participate in the upcoming tournaments? And how far along are they with their documents? Are even saying how much assistance has JFF provided in securing the documents for these players? So, I mean, as I said before, 7 players were named. 1 made it to the Unity Cup squad, and I don't think anybody else cared about that.
I don't think it's down to documents alone.
Hold on. CC, I hear you loud and clear, and I understand the way you're going after, right? But we have to understand, this Unity Cup thing wasn't a plan for the coach. You understand? The Unity Cup thing wasn't a plan for the coach. If the coach having 60-man squad up and ready, you understand? Planning to have a camp, you understand? He wasn't thinking about taking out these players, you understand, to put into a Unity Cup squad. You understand? Because he didn't plan for this thing. And then after CT, you must understand that some of these players, you understand, coming off a long season and they need a break. You can't expect them to play 3 tournaments: Unity Cup, World Cup qualified, and then Gold Cup. You understand? And then after that finish, they're going back to preseason. You understand? So you have to give some leeway. You understand? And these
you got some of these players.
Hold on, let me finish. Because let me talk about. Let me finish the thing. So what I think this Unity Cup squad was for, like some players, some French players, you understand, where like a Ravel should be there. We see what Ravel is really made of. And Jonathan Russell should be there. We could see what Jonathan Russell be there. You know, and some of these players we haven't seen a long time. And Daniel Johnson, you understand? Andre Gray. You understand? Some of these players where we haven't seen, Javan East and all these players. You understand? We could see what they're really.
You want it to be that way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
that's what we should say, you know.
But he wasn't designed for that, you know.
He wasn't designed for that.
It was designed for the UK fans to get a chance to see the reggae boys.
Yeah, and you understand. So let's say, guess what? So we couldn't ask the coach that question. Oh, why 6 players shot out of the
it is May 24. Well, I know. It is May 24.
Yeah.
Stoke City played their last game May the 3rd.
Yeah.
So you saying that to me doesn't tell me why Lewis Baker is not in the team.
What about Lewis Baker getting a break?
Listen to what I just said.
Hold on. Hold on, CC. I hear what you said. What about Lewis Baker getting a break and looking fresh for the World Cup qualification? Instead of playing too much. What if Lewis Baker come into this match, the Trinidad game, and get injured? Going to the Ghana game or Nigeria game and get injured. I would all see him at the World Cup qualification. How would you feel? Yeah, go ahead.
3 weeks. This is 3 weeks since Lewis Baker played a football game.
I understand that, City, but I'm saying to you, what if he enter this competition, this Unity Cup competition, that doesn't mean anything, and got injured, either by Trinidad, or either playing Ghana or Nigeria, and then when the real game comes, him not get to play.
So what if he got injured in the real game?
Are the real game that?
No, but you can't replace him at that point in time. Who are you going to replace him with? What are you going to replace him with?
But at the real game that.
Come on, but you got to start switching goalposts because you find out. No, you started with rest. You started about rest and saying that the player needs a break. Now you find out say 3 weeks. Now him not playing no football.
I'm just
rest.
I'm just
now
saying.
You start change the goalpost.
No, I'm not change the goalpost. I'm saying the players will be looking fresh. You understand? Coming just like how the coach ever called Damian Lowe, Damari Gray, Leon Bailey. You understand? And Ethan Pinnock. You understand?
But I'm not call them man name.
But I'm just saying you wanted to see you wanted to see. Hold on, brother. You wanted to see you want to see the 7 players.
It may be play.
You understand? You wanted to see the 7 players. That striker on the team. We need a striker. So I wouldn't mind seeing him there. See if he can really score a goal. Yeah, that's because we need a striker. By the way, people, we have Cranky, big up yourself. Thank you for joining Late Tackle another Saturday. First of all, I see you ask a nice question, and the follow-up question you didn't get to ask it. So tell the audience, 115 people watching, tell them what was your follow-up question in the media room.
You assume I can remember that far back?
I mean, man.
So 2 things. I just put on my thing, Tiga.
Yeah.
You know when you turn on your stereo and you blast and you don't realize you blast it.
Yeah.
And you put on where you hit me hard enough. The jumble never hurt. But let me just say this. The follow-up question was about why wouldn't he use the Unity Cup as the basis to assess Ravel if you believe Ravel is playing in a league which is inferior, and therefore when he can't see him and can't judge him, he says he knows Ravel's ability and Ravel's resume. So why would Unity Cup be? And you have 2 games to judge him to see, you know what, his fitness, how he plays, all what he's assessing that he needs to assess. He could have done that in those 2 games. It is incomprehensible to me to think that somebody like Ravel with his pedigree, and we are challenging the midfield, not to be given an opportunity. We have players like what's his name, Powell, we haven't seen in years, or in the 60-man squad.
Yeah,
Alvas Powell, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to knock Alvas, because Alvas is playing at a decent level. My point is that if those players are getting a chance, who have a history, who has been there, who have done that, Ravel deserves a chance also.
Definitely. I think everybody within the space, the YouTube space, is saying that Ravel is deserve a chance. 10 goals and 11 assists. We have another midfielder that scores so much goals yet. To this while, never in any competition, whether it be Ghana League,
also
League.
We've not had a midfielder. We've not had a midfielder playing in the Saudi third division or wherever.
Right. Whatever. Yeah. So
nobody can make it seem as if.
Yeah.
The level has a lot to do with his performance. And
right.
So here, guys,
we've not seen this at any other club at a higher level.
Guys, here's the problem. Here's the problem. What people don't think about. What's the comparative between the JPL and that league? Because we seem to want to knock whoever is in a third division or some bush league. Is JPL that higher league where we have 10, 9 JPL players in the squad who therefore say they played at such a high league, they should also be there? If they're given a chance, why JPL is not being considered this great league. In fact, the coach, this the entire JPL when he was interviewed, as I mentioned, this the entire JPL. Adam can't do a run up and down. That's all he said. They're not good. We didn't say it, the coach said it. If the worst thing somebody can say to you in life is that, you know what, you have athleticism, they're saying you have no brain. If you question someone's intelligence, indirectly or directly, is the worst thing someone can say to you. Worst thing.
But you see the difference though with the JPL players, there are room for improvement. There's none for Rapid. There's none for Rapid. If we're being serious.
Eddie, so you and I are going to argue about this. That's illogical.
If we're being serious.
Eddie, I have never heard anybody. Eddie, I have never heard anybody. Eddie, I have heard English people say all the time, Robin is a phenom. I have heard West Ham players who played wait, Eddie, listen, Eddie, listen.
Say the word was.
Give me contact, Eddie, are you sure? Give me contact.
Go ahead, Crankhead. Finish.
All these JPL players that you're picking up, Eddie. Nobody has to rate them.
You say Reese big. I never pick up anybody.
But you are indirectly. That's what you're doing. You're comparing them to Ravel. They're not comparable.
I'm not comparing. The thing is, Ravel, in terms of skill, yes, he's more talented than any JPL player. However, he has not displayed that, and that the coach has said, you're not displaying that at a certain level where I can use you.
But the JPL players are. But the JPL players are. Wait. But the JPL players are just playing at a certain level.
You know, so they have vendetta with the JPL players.
Eddie.
Why are they using the JPL player? We all know why. Cranky.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is this, Eddie.
They want to sell players. They want to sell.
Eddie,
we know why.
That's fine, Eddie. That's fine. But
they might not look at the Ravel.
Eddie, most of the people I engage with think Ravel should be given an opportunity.
Yeah, I would have him in the squad, you know.
Okay.
I would have him in the squad, no doubt. But I'm just saying there's some things I can agree with the coach with.
The coach is talking about both sides of his mouth all the time.
Yeah, so all right. So
wait, hold on. When the coach first came, and I have the tape, he said the league you're playing doesn't matter, it's gonna be playing some football. He said it when Ketterak asked the question, right? Correct, Eddie?
Yeah, man, I bring that up. I remember that.
So why are we going to something different now because it's Ravel and saying, you know what, the level matters and I can't see him? You know what Tuchel said? Tuchel says he can't go and watch Tony live. He has some tape on Tony, but he knows Tony's pedigree. That's why they bring Ivan Tony back, who has not been in England for a while, to see him play. He has games he can use him to test him. That's what we should do with Ravel. We're not saying Ravel is playing at a great level. We're saying give him a chance to fail. Let's give him a chance to fail.
And we do that. We did that with Tyre McGee. Didn't we do that with Tyre McGee? Hold on, didn't we do that? People in the comment section. We did give a lot of people a lot of chance. You understand?
I remember Algrim said didn't use up Ravel either.
Eddie, by your logic, Bailey shouldn't be the team. By your logic, Bailey should not be in the team.
You see what the coach is doing wrong now? The coach needs to be honest to himself and with us and say, look, I don't see Ravel in my future. I don't say that. Because him no want to say that, he might work with the league business and contradict himself. Him just need to be honest. So that's a cause of confusion. Just come out straight and say, I don't see Ravel in the future.
But let me tell you, the thing about it too, we have to be honest with ourselves. The league that Ivan Toney is playing in, we can readily pull up how much it is ranked in the world. You can't.
No, CC. You're missing the point, CC. You know what? Tuchel go to game, CC.
No,
he goes
I
to
am not
games.
missing
No,
the
two.
point,
Let me
Cranky.
finish.
What
CC.
I'm
Let me
trying
finish.
to say to
CC.
you.
CC.
Hold on. One at a time.
I'm the one who brought up Ivan Tony, CC, right? I brought up Ivan Tony, right? The coach was making
Yes,
a point. The coach said, can go watch him play live, which is what coaches do, because TV doesn't show you anything. He basically says, I can see him on tape, but I also want to bring him in to watch him. That's what he said.
All right, Cranky, fine. Yes, that's what he said. He said he wanted to go down there, but he had it in his plans. He didn't get the opportunity to go there. However, he's bringing him apart to be a part of the squad to see where he's at. Fine. That is fine. The Saudi Pro League is not comparable to the league that Ravel is playing in. The Saudi Pro League is a rated league. So it has a plethora of players that we know are playing at a certain
world-class
top players, right? When you look at the league that Ravel is playing in, it's a courtesy to call Ravel. However, because JPL players are in the squad and some people probably have a personal vendetta against JPL players being in the squad, then it is going to be used as an excuse as to why Ravel cannot be in the team over JPL players, because that's going to always be the conversation.
Why are you guys like that? Especially one in Jamaica. Why are you guys like that?
Why like what?
You and Eddie seem to sound the same way. You guys have this defensive mechanism when we talk about JPL. The coach just, and I hear Buckland running his mouth as he normally does.
This is not unseen.
Wait. No. The coach is the one who blasts JPL. Please go read between the damn lines. They blast JPL, denigrated them. Talking about coaching people from their 7 years old and educating them. You know what that does? He's saying the players are not educated. They don't have the acumen to play football. That's what he just said.
What am I blast Ravel League as well, Cranky?
Yeah, but we don't. Exactly. But JPL players getting a chance. Exactly.
And we know why. We know why.
You just mentioned he had 18 games for Jamaica. As if he's the only one he's performed for Jamaica. I seen him perform against Mexico. I've seen Bailey perform in one game. I was watching Bailey play. You guys are too biased, man. It's so upsetting to listen to this nonsense.
No, but Cranky,
They didn't perform in no game.
You forget the Gold Cup?
He didn't perform in no game. Yeah, when he missed the 2 goals against the US.
You remember the Mexico game, the header against Mexico at home?
We can pick out a couple of moments for any player over 30-something game. The biasness has to stop, people. Let's be fair to everybody. Treat everybody the same.
And you know, when Ravel in the team,
Cranky, everybody's not treated the same, Cranky.
When the match struggle,
everybody's not.
You know what them say? When Ravel in the team, them say, "Oh, Ravel was playing too deep." That's excuse a year now. Why I'm not create? It was playing too deep.
No, but Eddie, what I'm saying is that everybody's not treated the same, Eddie. And Cranky knows this. Everybody's not treated the same. JPL players are strung up, lynched up, string up, because they are labeled as should not be in the team, not good enough, none at all. By as a matter of fact, people are saying that they don't want to see one or half a JPL player in the team. Not one. Basically saying not one player that is playing in the league is good enough to be in the team. And then, so therein lies a big bias. You know, I'm not saying so many should be in the team. I probably don't think so many should be in the team.
You would have a time, Dixie. You would have players matriculating and going abroad.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Eddie, I am saying I don't think so much should be in the team. But you can, if you ever bring up a JPL player name, and say, if you bring up and say Warner Brown for 19, you have some people, then lynch you. Warner Brown not good, them start bring up 7,000 people name, who's better than Warner Brown.
That's so CC and Eddie, do you guys complain when people say Holgate shouldn't be in the team? Do you guys complain?
No, I'm a big
Holgate fan. Yeah, but a lot of people say Holgate. No, but here's the thing, Eddie. I don't hear you and CC blasting people who say Holgate shouldn't be the team. A lot of people say Holgate should be the team, but because he's a diaspora player, you guys don't think that way. You get defensive about JPL players. There's more than one. No, let me finish, CC. There are more than one diaspora players who get blasted should be in the team, like a Jamal Lowe, like a Palmer, like a Holgate, but you guys have no problem with that. The defensive mechanism kicking of shown as JPL players. And these players who are blasting from the diaspora have played at a much higher league than JPL players, and they get killed and destroyed because they haven't produced anything for Jamaica. I said they shouldn't be in the team because I am agnostic when it comes to who plays. If you're good enough, I have supported King. I supported Cephas till the last game. I've supported Dixon. I supported a lot of players who are local. I supported Brown. If they play well, I've supported McGee to a point. If they play well, I'm all for you. If you don't play well, I can't support you. I don't care where you play football. Whether it's Corner League, JPL, Saudi Third, Championship, Premier League. I beat Antonio when Claudine killing me. I said, you know what? I tried Dixon over Antonio because he's not scoring goals. I don't play that game. you guys are very biased when you think, because you blast everybody who may criticize these players. That can't be the way you rationalize things.
All right, so Cranky, I think you have
believe in
spoken.
giving players chances, you know. Cranky seem as if a player don't play a good 1-2 game, get him out the team. I'm not like that. I'm not quick to run out players.
But what may I say is, I think
whether you're local or whatever.
Cranky have spoken a bit of untruths in some of the conversation, because I have never, if you say Greg Lane of in a team or certain players without. First of all, me that talk, I say why John Russell never get called back on them thing there. So yeah, the problem is that because we have this, we don't call it a dichotomy where you have certain players are developed from Jamaica and some players are developed overseas, are heritage player. There's always this fight between if it's like when you're trying to speak on the football, you have to balance it. You have to find a way to say, oh, I wish the player did ban again. I mean, I really look on the bird certificate ticket when I talk about a player. I don't even know where some of my man them ban. I don't even know. As a matter of fact, I remember one time talking about Daniel Johnson. I know a man going to remind me that he was born in Jamaica. I didn't even remember that. So a man going to tell me, say, oh, so is it, you get to me, say, so unlike a lot of people who are watching where some of the players are born, that don't really matter to me. When you put on the Jamaica colors, I support you, wherever you come from. My conversation has to do with if the coach is contradicting himself, yes. And I've spoken about it, say that he said one thing. I remember Bobby Reid situation when he stated that Bobby Reid in a squad because his mom was some pregnancy thing. Then him come back and say, oh, Bobby Reid injured. And I'm like, try be consistent, no coach, like, yeah, twist up, turn up your mouth every minute. So I don't think he's consistent with regards to the Ravel situation. I was just thinking that there's other, like even Daniel Johnson, where I think there's other things people would have asked, where would have wanted to know. So, Cranky, you stated that you know about some of the players why they're not in there. I don't know why Louis Baker is not a part of the team. I've seen him on the provisional squad. I would have loved to know.
Everybody who's playing in the Unity Cup have to have their papers. Right? Correct, CC?
Yes.
Does Louis Baker and all them have their papers, CC?
I don't know.
Exactly. We don't know. So you can't then judge as to why they're not there.
No, but they're on the Gold Cup provisional squad.
The Gold Provisional squad is a squad.
But just in case.
Just in case. They can
be there, CC. They don't have to have a passport to be there.
And they don't have to play.
Because they're not on the final 26 CC. They can be on the 26.
Which is fine.
Hold on. You haven't seen the last professional squad over the years? How many players were on it and they don't have a passport, yet still all of them play for Jamaica?
All right. So Eddie and Tigat and Cranky, put in on a provisional squad, right? And you put some players who would have a passport because they can be there without documents. Fine. But in terms of saying that over the years we have been placing players on the provisional squad list, and some of those players up to 3 years now we haven't seen them playing for Jamaica. Why is it that we can't translate from having the players on the provisional squad? Obviously, we want them to be a part of the final squad to get them into the final squad.
Speaker, that is.
Repeat the question, CC.
No, I was saying over the years we have been placing players on provisional squad lists. Obviously, we are recruiting players and want them to play for Jamaica. And how is it that we cannot get them to translate from over the provisional squad into the final squad when those are some of the players that we actually want to be playing for the country?
It's a good question. There are litany of reasons, to be honest, for some of these things. Sometimes the players may be close. Here's an example. Antonio and Gray took 2 years to get their papers, my understanding, from good source. 2 years, CC. Suppose they're close, CC, and you thought they were close, but they're really 6 months to a year away, because they filed a year ago, and you put them on the squad, they won't be involved. They don't get a passport and their citizenship. It takes a while to go to PICA. Well, it shouldn't take a while, but it does take for some people. If you go through London, for example, which they shouldn't do, that's why you see players now flying to Jamaica, like how Hayden did, They stop flying to the London consulate, and they fly to Jamaica to get it, because in Jamaica it takes no time. You go through London, your paper get lost. One of the kids I'm supposed to interview said he sent his papers in, and 2 years later he has heard nothing. So we don't know the reason, CC. I don't have a good answer for you as to why that's the case. But it's a good question in terms of why would you put someone there unless you are pretty close to converting them, or they truly want to be converted? Or did you try to incentivize them to consider converting? So you put them on. I don't know what the rationale is. There's a very different rationale.
Yeah, and that's the thing to Cranky. So then we are continue building list, building up people's hopes, and then when the final squad come, not only one player can make it out, or only two players. So if over a period of time, fan sentiments, we can probably list 10 players that we think we should have gotten and we didn't get. And I don't see where anyone even pressed by the JFF to say about 4 years now we see you putting on these guys on the list, and none of them have materialized into playing for Jamaica. So what have you done to ensure that the process have gotten better? Because we've heard of Antonio, we've heard of other players, 2 years it take them to get their documents. What have you learned from that process and carried forward to ensure that that timeline has significantly reduced?
I asked that question on the women's press conference the other day with Busby. What people don't realize is that on both sides of the aisle, even though we rarely have any locally based women's players who matriculate to the senior team at this point in time, just given the women's league is not where it needs to be, but we have more for the men, that the process to naturalize persons is still as prohibitive as it is for the men, actually. It's difficult. You guys sometimes got to reach what the coaches are saying, If you hear Busby talk, if you hear McClaren talk, if you hear Hagins talk, the general consensus is this takes too long. They don't have that in some other countries. I can't talk for all countries. Some of the countries who are fighting for a war for talent, they don't have the problems that we do. Why is the government working with PICA, working with the JFF, to do these conversions much more quickly? They need to set up some kind of body where they have people with certain designated skill sets in each of the various areas, JFF, PICA, Ministry of Sport, or working in collaboration to allow the process to be more seamless and more efficient and more effective.
But you know what I find funny, Cranky? I think there's about 3 netball players. Are 3 of them? Couple netball players that have switched from I think England to Jamaica.
Yes.
And they switched. All right, say for example, we were mentioning a player to represent Reggae Boys. Those ladies that have switched would have come after those players would have committed to them want to play for the Reggae Boys, and they would have played for Jamaica recently. So it's like
So a couple of
it
things.
was less than 6 months.
Yeah, the lacrosse team, the rugby team, and maybe now the netball. I don't know what the situation is, but some sports seem to have an advantage to get this done. Maybe because their papers are in better order, right? Because sometimes the papers, think about it. England is a much more further in terms of when people started going to England, right? When they started migrating to England versus the US. So they migrate to the US. You may have some problems, but probably less so, but it's closer in terms of name being correct, birth certificate being correct. Everything is much more easier and much more seamless, given when the migration started. Because a lot of people are now in the process of using grandparents, correct? Think about it. It's not really parent anymore, it's grandparent for a lot of them. And we know how those paperwork work. Some people didn't have birth certificate, or they have it, the name differ, one name spelled incorrectly. And when those things happen, it does take a while to get it done. But my point is, those things be identified pretty quickly and rectified. Versus I go to London, they take my papers, they didn't realize the mistake, they send it to Jamaica, they then send it back to you. It takes a while to get there, and it's a circuitous process with no end in sight.
I think, as I said before, because I saw where I think them said Louis Baker was on the island, Madasil was on the island. So I'm pretty much probably optimistic that those two at least will be able to get their documents before the World Cup qualifying. But for me, as I said before, Cranky, it's just the questions to expose and pressurize the JFF as to why we see 7 players being recruited. But then when it comes down to documentation, year after year after year, we are in provisional squad and we can't get to play them.
I think this time it may be a little bit different because they have started work through the process and they know the papers are close. And I'm sure there's probably some association going on with PICA. So they probably, for the 7 players that you mentioned, I think 2 of those players, though, are more junior, right? So I'm not sure if they switch allegiance yet, but the others, I think, should be okay.
Oh, All and Johnson.
Right. Which are 2 very young players who were, by the way, I've said this before, wanted to be part of the under-20, were in the under-20 that John Wall had, and were not given an opportunity to play for the under-20 team that we know did so well in CONCACAF.
So that means that them have them passport then?
Or
See what me tell you, say come back down to cranky. That's why me I say it come back down to it's just the logistics of everything. I just feel like the logistics of the squad assembly, the recruitment, other little aspects. So we have development, all of the factors that goes into a World Cup cycle or what you should make a decent football cycle, sports cycle. We just don't have them together. We just don't have ducks line up in a row.
No. We have a conundrum which we can't solve. It's a conundrum, right? Which is, and I understand the conundrum, but I also think there got to be a better way to address it, which is the JFA want to give local players an opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with that, to demonstrate their skill, to probably get a chance overseas to play. They want to also satisfy their local stakeholders who are mandating this. That's why they have quotas. Fans want to win. Sponsors want performance to give you their money. And right now we're at a really bad place, which is you would think by now we'd have made changes to get to a better place. Where we are is where we started, and we have made much progress in terms of closing the gap between diaspora and local. The narrative needs to change, the engagement needs to change, how we view these things needs to change. I don't know how you truly fix it, because I understand the local aspect of this, but I'm the person that if someone's a citizen, they should not be discriminated against. If that's the case, all the Jamaicans in the US who are citizens, including our goalkeeper, all the people in England who are citizens, probably Tigard's probably a citizen, frankly, we would not have the same opportunity in the US because we're deemed to be not born in the US. And if that was the case, people would lose their minds. So how can that be okay for Jamaica when it is okay for people who migrate to the US, for example? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, as I said before, the Unity Cup squad, when I look at this squad, I think the players I'm really interested in to see. The youth name Ramon Burrell, John Russell. I mean, Ramon Burrell, John Russell. I think the little youth named Stephen Young too. I think him playing. I don't want to see him too, but I don't know if like Warner Brown too as well. But the rest of guys, I'm not really overly enthusiastic because my focus is more on the World Cup qualifying squad and to see the players that we assemble for that squad. But if I should say anything, three of the guys here I think would make two of the guys I think could put up their hands is the youth named Stephen Young and Roman Burrell. But outside of that, pretty much all of these other guys would have played for Jamaica before. So we would see what they would have had to offer, I think, before.
My only problem with the squad is this. I would have loved to see Rabel in the squad, and I'd love to see the two youngsters in the squad. That's my only problem. I don't
and Johnson.
Because I want to convert them from early. That's my philosophy. So they come in, they like it, they feel good, they love what's the vibes. They may consider switching allegiance, right? That's the thing. You got to try to convince kids when they're young, who are repping the Jamaica colors, that you know what, you're interested in them, they're valuable, they provide value, you value them, and you want them. If they try to put people under 28 and they can't come, first of all, you discourage them from the under 20 in the first place. So why should they even come back? So anybody cuss these kids and say, oh, we don't want them because they want to play for England, they come for the youth team and you tell them no. Why should they come back?
And also we can't question the commitment. The commitment of Isaac and a Mason Woolgate, because these two players couldn't take a vacation, but yet still they played the Unity Cup and then go straight into the World Cup and the World Cup. So you can't question other people say they question their commitment. You can't question these two players' commitment. You understand?
Well, no, I think Hayden did it from Holgate. I think Hayden's situation was this, which is Hayden went on channels. I'm talking about he's probably gonna play for England until he's like 100. I'm just extrapolating here. I'm exaggerating, right? And people didn't take that kindly. I think what Hayden should have done is understand. Always hedge your bet, which is, you know what? I was born in the UK. I want to play for the UK. I'm going to try to play for the UK. But you never know what happened in the future. That's all you got to say and move on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think not for these young players are edging their bet. The Hutchinson of the world, I think they're edging their bet right now. You understand? The Jonathan Rose and all these players, you know, I think they're edging their bet. So
I'll ask you a question, Tigat. Tigat,
why me? Why me?
Yeah, because they keep on mentioning they could have taken vacation on these things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying
an excuse that them always use.
No, me I say the players them don't play May 3rd. They think they have taken 3 weeks vacation. I'm not saying that 3 weeks of no football. Isn't that vacation?
No, it's not 3 weeks for everybody, you know.
And I treat everybody.
All right, Aiden. Last game was May. The last day the championship play May 3rd. The other gentleman we mentioned before, championship ball game done May the 3rd. What name? What the one you mentioned before? Allgate championship done May the 3rd. Portsmouth in a playoff. Aiden side Aiden play for Portsmouth. The other gentleman play. Them not in the playoffs. They would have stopped played after May 3rd.
West Brom
is not in the playoffs.
So what about the other players?
So
what about the goalkeepers then? What about the goalkeepers then? What about Richard King? What about the goalkeeper then, Richard King? What about them play? What about Kyle Ming?
No, I wasn't. No, I'm saying to
what about Daniel Green?
I'm saying to Tiga
last night.
Yeah, no, I'm saying to Tiga that Isaac Aiden, and those other gentlemen, they could play in this Unity Cup squad, the World Cup Gold Cup, because they would have gotten a bit of time in between football and playing.
I think players have to make a little sacrifice.
No, you guys are missing something. You guys ever lived in England?
Repeat?
Have you ever lived in England?
No, I've never lived in England.
No, it's the worst weather ever. No, it's the worst weather ever. You probably get sunshine, July and August, and the rest of the year is melancholy. So players live for vacation. No, people in the UK live to leave the UK to go Spain and Morocco and Egypt and everywhere except the UK.
So they're going on holiday.
So the holidays are precious and they make plans with their family. So if you play the football all year through May and you go play ball May, June, and July, where you get time to go on vacation with your family?
No, we get the time.
Exactly.
You got players have to take sacrifice. A lot of them have to take sacrifice to be in this.
But then we want to cost them. We want to cost them and kill them.
Else we're not having a team. If players don't take sacrifice, we're not having a team. We're not having a decent team. You know what I mean? The JP players will always play. Even if they have a game the night before, they might go play. You understand? So.
No, but I'm just thinking the JPL players them me not say them no need rest to one thing, but at the end of the day,
they need it, but
at the end of the day,
picture.
Them no reach to a level where.
By the way, I want to kill a narrative. I have been told that Ravel don't give no trouble in camp. At least the last few camp him there. I have been told that give no trouble. So people that make narrative about Ravel can't get coach or Ravel can't do that. I've been told Ravel has been getting a problem, but that's true or not, I don't know. I was told not getting a problem.
I don't know. So,
and I don't know about that one. I understand. I don't know about that one.
But then we have a problem. We have a goalkeeper issue.
What's the goalkeeper issue?
Because we expect Shakan Davis to play, but he lost his game to Chambers for Mount Pleasant. So I don't think I'm not certain about who will get the start.
All right, so let me throw this out there. All right. With the squad is there, right? Shaquan Davis, Benjamin, Williams, Tafari, Chambers, King, and everybody. Not going to go into the squad. Now, who is the perfect captain for this time? Let's go with Cranky. Cranky, who is the perfect captain?
Isaac Aiden.
All right, so
Isaac Aiden.
All right, Isaac Aiden.
No,
so Richard King can't captain the side.
Isaac Aiden.
No, I just asked if Richard King can't captain the side.
Me da say Casey Palmer, Amari Bell.
Yeah, Bell couldn't get a shot.
No.
I think because I'm look into it, I say, it's a seniority in the squad, but I say Amari Bell. Because yes, Isaac Aiden, but I mean, into the squad, I look on Amari Bell.
What has Amari Bell done to get the captaincy? In his career, what has he done to get captain? Has he ever captained anything? Is he a leader? Does he play? Is he played at the highest level?
Yeah. All right. So
well, he did, but now he's in what? The League One.
Rob Smith did that with a bowler, Yorker. Rob Smith said he only had 2 caps for Jamaica. He can't captain the side. Only 2 caps. So I Richard King my money to pan, you know.
A glorified friendly, this, you know, anything possible.
And the last time
they're playing in the UK, aren't they? And
the last time the local team played Richard King in it, was Richard King the captain. So my money I go for Richard.
Who? Then against who?
Trinidad. Does Richard King.
He was the captain for both games?
Yeah, for both games.
So he was the captain of a team that has all local players. Right?
Yeah.
This is a mixed team.
Yeah. This mix up.
So my money is for Richard King still.
No, in terms of stature, I think it's the same way.
Yeah, it's 8 to me.
And
if I was being captain in terms of a player, especially the position that he plays, I love my captain to be coordinating defense and offense simultaneously. I don't like goalkeepers as captain, frankly, because you can't give a lot of instructions. I like somebody like Hayden who's been there, done that, and exhibit leadership qualities to be in that role. I'm not going to say Richard King can't be captain. Richard King exhibits a lot of I'm gonna call it temperament on the field. Richard King sometimes doesn't really come across as somebody who's very composed and gonna be somebody who can calm things down. So make him exacerbate things versus make them calmer.
But me know something that's captained in games before still not cranky. When the Amari Bell has captain Luton in absence of the captain at Luton a couple of times. So yeah, and I think, as I said, I remember when them even come up when them come up from the championship. Because you know, say Luton Town, I think, was the first team to come from non-league football and come up to Premier League. Would have been. But as I said before, I can see Isaac Hayden, the reason behind Isaac Hayden, the captaincy. Pretty much, really with anybody else. Because as I said before, between Isaac, Casey, or Amari Bell. But I don't think nobody else.
I would say Bell or Hayden. One of the two.
All right, so Dre, anyway, that's sports. All right, so Eddie have some money for me. So I can put up that money where Eddie have to give for me. And CC, can give me a thing.
Hey, Dre, a Jamaican money, Dre. Take it. Dre, it's Jamaican money. Don't take it.
And Cranky have some money, so we can make it up. You understand? Yeah, man, we can make it up.
By the way, I have a question for you guys. Serious question, though. I probably shouldn't ask you about. When you buy tickets overseas for Jamaica games, is it electronic? They just send you an email or something?
Cranky, we can't get a ticket in a Cranky. Where's that?
No, we need VIP ticket. We're not completion. We have VIP ticket.
No,
VIP we don't want. If a VIP we don't want, we don't want it.
Hold on, Cranky. Hold on, Cranky. Cranky, are you planning to go down for the World Cup qualification?
Yep, no load it up. Yeah, no load it up.
Anything is possible. All
right, so Cranky, we need to talk. We need to talk. If you
Cranky, you could have just get press pass yesterday, Cranky. Why you never apply for the press pass?
Who to tell Cranky is not already here? Who to tell he's not already here?
But Cranky couldn't do that.
I'm on the road, but I'm not in Jamaica.
Right.
But Cranky couldn't do that.
I heard. Hold on.
We know you're not flying down.
Who tell you that? I mean, some big news are going.
Hold on.
Big news are going, you know.
Cranky at the press conference stated. Watch they got love of an earphone and I hear people are saying. Cranky in the press conference stated that he was in the airport. So come like you never listen.
No, but not to Jamaica. I'm not going to Jamaica. I went someplace else. Not Jamaica. I didn't go to Jamaica. No.
So Cranky was flew to somewhere. We don't know, but he was in the airport.
You can get the e-ticket. Once you go on the Quapid website, you can buy the VIP ticket and you get the electronic ticket.
Okay.
So either you scan it, or you can print it. Either one.
Okay. Did they give a press pass already? They gave a press pass already?
Yeah, they gave up.
No.
Yesterday was the deadline.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably 2 weeks time them start issue.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get a press pass because I haven't been the best.
You applied? Applied?
I did apply. Yeah.
Okay.
I did apply.
Probably Rona J5 there.
All right,
Simon,
Simon,
most cranky Simon.
Most cranky. All right, so we're wrapping up. Eddie, what next on the show?
What name? Mr. Tree Card Man.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Dennis Chung.
Don't say that. Be a please
Hold on.
Wait. The views expressed by Eddie Vision is not the views of Sports DTM. All right? The views expressed by
the coach Eddie. Eddie, you talking about the coach Eddie? You talking about the coach?
No.
Oh,
not this time. All right, so the
views expressed by Eddie Vision TV is not of Sports down the middle.
Hey, Tiga. You know what's about it? Eddie, that Jamaica, you know.
Yeah, make it fine.
No, the great. All right, no. The great, hear that part now. The great Dennis Chung.
No, go ahead. That's what we need to say.
Dennis Chung, who did a lot of good work for the JFF.
Yes.
No, it was alleged that he's stepping away. We just want to talk about what will happen if that happens.
Hold on.
Could the JFL recover from losing the likes of Dennis Chung?
All right, so
Tiga. Eddie got to rephrase that. Eddie used the word good. That's not good, Eddie.
No.
Somebody can go from, you said good. You can go back and play back in. You said good.
Yes.
You know, use the word good for people who take you out of some financial ruins and put you in a good place. You can't use the word good.
Exactly. He did well to do that.
No, it's not good. It's
I never input. Okay, great. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
great.
Good. Okay, good.
Great.
Much better.
From Mr. Chung there.
Yes, much better.
I heard a lot of rumors of persons never go work.
All right, so
you go to the office, nobody in the office. So the whole culture change in the JFF. So we have to
like a working environment. So I wasn't at the. He had a press conference right after the court had his.
I didn't get to listen.
I didn't get to go on. CC, were you able to go on that press conference?
Yeah, what I'm saying, we never get to listen.
CC look like him busy.
All right, so we didn't know. So we hear that so after the JFF, let's put it this way, people. Let's break it down. The JFF was under restriction from FIFA how they're spending their money. So every time they write a check, the people have to go over it and make sure if they say they're going to buy bull and cheese, they have to make sure it's a bull and cheese them buy. Them can't use the money buy mackerel and rice. So JFF was under strict restriction from FIFA how they spend the money. If them give them $10, they want to know how the $10 spent. So Mr. Chung went in and he did a tremendous job. FIFA say, okay, you guys are on the right path. We removed it. You're free to go. Now, after the restriction has been removed, couple months after, it is rumored that maybe 2 months after, or a month after, it was rumored that Mr. Chung leaving. And people might wonder why. Why? Because
job done.
Yeah, right. You understand? People might ask. I heard that his contract is about to end sometime this year. You understand? So if his contract is ending sometime this year, why didn't it wait until the contract was over? Or why did the JFF offer him an extended contract? Don't know. But he did an excellent job by removing the JFF from the spending restriction. You understand? An excellent job. Now the JFF can if them get $10, people don't have to over them back to ask them how they spend the $10.
Yeah.
You understand? Is this a good thing? We don't know. You understand?
Him kind of repair the image of the JFF as well.
Exactly.
So sponsors don't want to work with the JFF because then nobody want to work with JFF.
Exactly.
So what is basically done is, as Eddie alluded to earlier, the first thing he did, because I had a discussion with Janice when he was on Management Channel about when you go into a company, you need to change people Otherwise, you won't make the progress you're looking to make. And what Dennis has done is, first of all, change the governance construct, about, at least from a finance standpoint. Not talking about the totality of the JFF. He has changed the government. He has changed procedures, invented a lot of procedures people have adhered to. He has created a sense of accountability. He has created a sense of responsibility and mandated people, you actually work in there, so you need to go to work. As you see, Eddie mentioned it, which is when he went there at 11 o'clock, there was nobody in the office. So he's changed the whole culture of making it a much more professional organization, because that's where he came from. He has also allowed them to be much more tax compliant now, which they weren't before. As he mentioned, because at the press conference, 20 years of negative equity, which we don't seem to realize what that means. Because sometimes Dennis uses accounting terms, and he hasn't written them down enough so the layman can understand them. Right? Which is one thing I have with Dennis, which he has to do sometime better, because if people can fully understand what he's saying. They had a going concern opinion, which means every year it says you have about 12 more months to survive, but because they have FIFA money and government money, them still survive. Like Barcelona, which is bankrupt but still operating because money coming from different sources. If you look at them, from like most companies, they probably go under at some point, right? But they have other avenues to get money. As Eddie alluded to, he has changed the environment in terms of the perception of the JFF and the monetary aspect, which is sponsored to the business of JFF. He's also thought about revenue stream. So whether it's the streaming of services, working with the fan base, for example, to say, you know what, we want to bring the fan base in, listen to them, try to implement what they're saying. So he's trying to more holistically change the construct of the JFF, change how the JFF operate, change the brand of the JFF to be something which people want to embrace versus being distasteful. So it's very disappointing. And here's another thing, people, which is important. Why is it that the people who perform in the JFF are the ones who leave, and the ones who don't are the ones who remain? You go look at Donaldson, you go look at Hagrimson, you go look at all these people who have performed, they're gone, including Chung, but the ones who don't perform, that's opposite to the real world.
But sometimes Cranky is just
you wonder what happened. Go ahead, TC.
No, I was just saying sometimes, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't like it. For me personally, me never like. I think I had one interaction with Mr. Chung, and it was a management show. And I remember asking him a question about Al Gibson and some contracting. And Marks me learn a term there. I never really liked it because it came off a bit arrogant, like he's the only one who went to school of some sort. So I realized that interacting with some of these people. I'm gonna say interacting with some of these people from the JFF sometimes it's a very big turn off. So, but I mean, you can see the work that he has put in still. But as I said, the people who perform in the organization seems to be the ones who always are walking out.
Yeah, and somehow them want the bad culture. I mean, no, them want the mix up and the unprofessionalism and the friend thing. Them want that to linger. I think it boils down to that, you know.
The question is going to be who's going to replace Dennis, right? That's very important. Because whoever is in charge of the finance area, as the Jen said, is probably the most important job in the JFF, frankly.
Important.
But can I ask a question? Because Mr. Speed wasn't doing the finance part before Dennis Chung came on.
He made if he was, we know where that was.
No, but
I don't know if he was or not, but I'm just saying he wasn't in a good place. No, I thought it was what's his name who left? What's the name that daughter went? I thought it was daughter. Overseeing the area. I know who did it, but who overseen it?
I think that was the general secretary, but I think the finance, I think Mr. Speed was. I don't quote me on this, but I can't be wrong.
Bring up that comment from Henry. He's saying that Dennis stated that he'll stay for 3 years.
Okay. You know, let me say this, people. Sometimes people say certain things, and if they can change their minds, you know, they can change their mind. If the environment is right, they can change their minds, right?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So Dennis wanted to stay. Mr. Chung.
Yeah. Dwight. Mr. Speed was on, and he said that Busy won't be traveling tonight, but they will have set him 48 hours, and hopefully on Sunday, if he's good to go, he will travel on Sunday. But if he's not good to go on Sunday, then he won't be going. Busy will be not making that trip.
They're not taking a risk on Busy. No risk.
They're not taking no risk. Understand? Which is true. Understand? Which is true. So yeah, that's what is going on right now. Then Mr. Speed said they are assessing him, and if he's fit to go, he'll travel tomorrow. But if it's not, he won't go. Understand? That's where it is. Really sorry for the young man. He really had a good season. To miss this opportunity, it's really sad. Understand? But anyway, people. So Dennis Chung in. I don't know what the people in the comment section said. Dennis Chung in. Eddie say what Mr. Dennis Chung to stay on. I think there are more. Yeah. I think there are competent people out here. They understand. But let's see. Dennis Chung did an excellent job so far. So Dennis Chung in for me also
compared to who we had before.
So Tigat and Eddie and CC. Sometimes it's not just about the competence of the individuals, you know. Do they have the gravitas, and do they have the ability to influence others, and to have the backbone when people want to do certain things to stand up to them, because they know they have nothing to lose. When you have fallback like Dennis does, you can take risks. You may have competent people who can't take that risk, and therefore they'll allow certain things to take place which shouldn't.
All right, Conrad Smith said Dennis stays on. All right, big up yourself, Conrad. I understand. Dennis stays on. All right, people, I don't know if you noticed, but my background is getting a little bit noisy. Eddie, CC.
Yeah, done the ball game.
Yeah, we have to done the ball game because my background is getting a little bit noisy and a lot of movements. I'm not in the lab, people. You might think I'm in the lab, but I'm not in the lab. Yeah, I'm at somewhere else. But yeah, my background is getting noisy. So we have to done the sports.
So Tiga, you go to the game in Jamaica. Tiga, you going to the game?
I hear that there's going to be one big surprise. That's why I say, if you leave and
Mr. Greenwood. That's why Cranky applied on Mr. Greenwood.
Yeah, I hear that there's going to be a surprise, so more apply good up.
I don't know anything about that. Don't put me in. I'm not in that conversation. I know nothing about that.
Yeah, I hear that some unveiling are going to go on, so I want to be there and unveiling.
What's the unveil? What am I unveil?
You don't know. So I don't know. I don't want, you know, fly one day and come up at the next day.
So you're not going to the Gold Cup?
Yeah, that has been arranged. I already apply and you know already what's going on.
Yeah.
I might only go to one game, the Texas game. Understand?
Support that because
well, it depends on where we are from the Texas game. It depends on where we are from the Texas game.
The Texas game, last game, against Panama.
Dead rubber.
I think that's a good game to go to. You know, I gotta think about that.
Yeah, it's a good game to go. So where say, Cranky?
It might be a dead rubber.
Yeah, I may go to that game.
You know, I don't take the ticket over $200. You know, I go buy it early.
You understand? Over $200 for what?
You remember?
The garbage compartment. Yeah, sitting at the baggage compartment.
Like, how much did they play that time? About $200 they played last time.
I don't remember I played, but
you go to UPS.
Yeah, I go $200 they played last time and at Delta they play on.
No, I can't sit in. I have to sit in premium because my legs are long.
Well,
okay. But Tiga, you can sit anywhere, Tiga.
You can sit.
I go first.
As long as you can reach, you understand? Yeah.
You don't have the long leg problem, Tiga, so you can sit anywhere.
But Cranky, may I ask you a question? Do you feel comfortable with the Gold Cup being hijacked by the Club World Cup?
No.
I don't think it was hijacked.
It's not hijacked. They're playing all the games on the West Coast because they're accommodating the Club World Cup, right?
Right. I don't think it's hijacked.
It doesn't hijack because they're going to be less interest on the Gold Cup versus the Club World Cup.
Well, all right. We must understand that the Gold Cup really get boring, because them all set up for USA and Mexico for the final. You understand? Them all is that. Right. So it must get boring. And when
we're not competing. We're not competing.
Hold on.
We're not competing.
Let me finish. Not only that, when Jamaica play some match, them now make them play Atlanta. Then now make them play at Florida.
We get the
then now make them play. They make them play some CI and some place where the Jamaicans are not.
Tiga. They learned their lesson from 98. They'll never happen again.
No, we don't that stuff. But
yeah,
come
but
on, New York. Play a match in New York.
Tiga,
play a Jersey.
What I say to you, Tiga, is this, right? See, the USA, like, we can understand all of these things now, but if football in the CONCACAF has been developing, USA to the point where they have a plethora of players playing in bigger leagues and things. You have a lot of players now start playing for bigger clubs and then so you have more star in the Gold Cup, right? So you're going to tell me, so no, when you bring the Club World Cup, USA right now have 3 players that are not going to be in the Gold Cup, you know. They're going to be playing at the Club World Cup.
Hold on. All of their players, all of their top players are not playing. McClaren not playing. Pulisic not playing because Pulisic not in the Club World Cup. And Pulisic not playing. The other one that play for AC Milan. 2 of them play for AC Milan.
Yeah,
hold on. Go ahead.
Let me finish the point. The point I'm making is this, right? Stars are what make tournaments. And if you are going to keep a tournament, as a matter of fact, FIFA has opened the emergency transfer window. June the 1st to June the 10th is an emergency transfer window for clubs that are at the Club World Cup to get in players into their team because they want the very best players at the Club World Cup. So if you would simultaneously sandwich that with the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and if it was 100,000 watching the Gold Cup, then that 100,000 now becomes 10,000. And that's my problem. Hold
on. People have a special guest. We have a special guest in the in Mr. We have a special guest in Mr. Hold on. Mr. Dwight Spencer. Mr. Spencer has been Mr. Spencer has been a fan of this sports DTM late tackle.
He's have the R for the man name, man.
Yeah, you understand, Mr. Spence. You understand, Mr. Dwight Spence have been a really fan. I'm glad to have you want the number, say don't have a number. I'm glad to have you on, Mr. Spence. Mr. Spence, what's going on, sir?
Me there, brother. Me there.
Spencer, I have a question for you, Spence. Where in Jamaica are you from?
Hey, Cranky. We come from the same safe plantation, all right? Same year. We remember we talked about this Hanover, brother. The Spence didn't come from Hanover, my dad's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could be relatives, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And you there in New York, that's the other side. So trust me, the percentage is high.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Spence at that time, wicked in the comment section. All right, go ahead. You're the floor now,
okay.
Mr. Spence.
So let me touch on first the pickup process, okay? Right now, I posted to get appointment at the London consulate. They are 4 months out. The line at the London consulate each day is wrapped down the street. All right. So if you're a professional football player, they don't really give you that much privilege. Okay? Because anybody can see them as a professional football player. Now, it's what the consulates and the high commissions need to do in Canada and the UK and different parts of the world. They need to host probably 3 or 4 times a year special dates for athletes of various sports to be able to come in with letters from the sporting bodies and be able to drop off their papers to start the processing faster, right? Because let's say you're a professional footballer. You don't have no time to wait for no consulate with no appointment for 4 months. You want to be able to get a date, go in, drop off your papers, and keep it moving, all right? So that's number one. The second thing, as somebody mentioned, why the players are coming to Jamaica. What is happening? They are dropping off their paperwork in Canada, in the States, in the UK, because PICA just said in April, a minimum of 45 days for us to get you your naturalization citizen papers, right? And you need that naturalization paper to then get a passport. They do not expedite passports if you live abroad. passports can only be expedited from Kingston in Jamaica. All right, so let's make that clear. So players are dropping off the paperwork at the high commissions and the consulates and beginning the clock with Pika at Waterloo Road to get their citizenship. All right, let me explain to you one big difference between the reggae girls and reggae boys. Unfortunately, we are all men here. As men, we tend to take care of the paperwork better with our daughters than our sons. So, family tree for reggae boys players, mess. Some of them is smooth, a lot of them is not smooth. So as Cranky was saying, as other people were saying, the corrections, the late name additions, and all this stuff, this is all personal matters that the JFF cannot resolve. That's between the players and them family. Once the player goes through that and he's issued a Jamaican citizenship of naturalization, now it makes sense for you to come to Jamaica, come down 3 to 5 days, you have your naturalization certificate, and you can get a passport between 1 to 5 days. All right? So it varies by players. The JFF cannot control that. It's up to the players and their families. What I would say is any player who is now adult, 18 years old, or if you are a parent and you want your son or daughter to play for the Reggae Boys, start the process now as early as possible. Because yes, it can take 6, 9, 12, 24, 36 months. It depends on what's on the papers and what the family situation is.
So do I have a question for you?
All right. So let's put a pin in there.
I have a question for you. So that means that the volume of people requesting naturalization has increased significantly?
I will tell you this, and I know this directly. The London consulate, the London High Commission, packed. The Toronto High Commission, packed. New York, so-so. Miami, wide open.
Okay, because I went to New York, and New York was seamless to me. It took me 4 months in total. And I didn't go to Jamaica, by the way. That was a year ago. That was a year ago.
Look at the difference. So, Cranky, I renewed my passport during COVID, right? The line wasn't bad, but do remember, I've had a Jamaican passport since I've been a child. I was just getting reissued a passport. For people, for minors and adults that are getting their first-time passport, that's where the difficulty lies. There's no records in the system.
Okay.
All right? So that's why if you have a youth and you get their passport now as a youth, when they come as an adult and say, oh, mommy, 21 years old, me want to represent Jamaica. Boom, I'm already in the system. You pull it up and then Chris. Minor passports are only good for 5 years. Adult passports are good for 10 years. All right? So you have to, there's a lot of things in play, but this stuff is 100% responsibility of the players and their families. The JFF cannot help you with this. It's too much for the JFF to deal with.
Yeah, but here's the thing I said, right? Dwight, which is this, we should consider, which is you have somebody from PICA, the JFF, the player, sort of working, because you know the players don't understand the process, right? They may not understand what is required.
Why not? No, hold on. Why not, Frankie?
Because
there are
these
adults.
Players grew up. No. They grew up privileged, right? They're not doing nothing. Some of them. They grew up privileged. Meaning, as a footballer, everything is done for you, right?
Frankie,
so
that
doesn't mean you're not smart, but everything is done for you. So in essence, if you have somebody who understands the system and what's required up front, you come with a birth certificate, this doesn't match, your name is spelled wrong, this doesn't work, work you through the process, that may work better, I think, to help people expedite the process.
And I think, Cranky, I think a lot what needs to be where the JOA, the JFF, the different sporting bodies, they should work with the consulates and the High Commission and said, let's have these 3 dates per year, right, where we allow the athletes to come in and they can ask questions and get these things looked at. They should block out certain dates on the year and say, okay, these dates we're going to have somebody in from PICA and they're going to be in XYZ country at this date and they can look at it. So if you're in Canada, fly to Toronto. If you're in the UK, fly to London. Have your letter from the sporting body and they will look through and see what they need to do. I just think that's what the Jamaican Foreign Affairs Ministry and the sporting ministry needs to facilitate. That's what I can say to that.
Yeah, right now I can tell you there's a lot of frustration in the system across all the parties involved, right? He can probably get blamed on inappropriately.
I can tell you this.
Yeah.
I can tell you this: the basketball players are getting things moved quickly because everybody is working and clapping and singing this from the same sheet of music.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
The basketball players have to go through the same thing. The big difference is they're singing from the same sheet of music.
Well, you're saying that's Amen Thompson and those guys, the twin, and no something the Powell, Norman Powell them.
Are the Thompsons involved? I didn't hear about the Thompsons.
I don't know the names.
I know Norman Powell is involved, but
Powell is involved. Yeah, Powell say he wants to play.
I don't know the names, but however they're doing, they're singing from the same sheet of music and they're going through and doing things proper. The basketball players are the same way. They're privileged, but I tell you what they're doing is having them drop off their stuff at the consulates and getting their naturalization done first and getting that back to them, and then tell them, once you have that, go down to Jamaica and get your passport. Don't wait, because it's the passport that takes long.
This is the thing that I said to somebody yesterday. I told someone you cannot get a passport, Jamaican passport, without naturalization or citizenship. So somebody came, oh, you can get,
and they cannot expedite. They cannot expedite your passport overseas. The only time that is even remotely possible, right, is if in the process of you traveling, your passport was damaged and you're at the airport and you can't get through. They'll try to get your emergency passport, but you have to have a valid passport. If you're getting your first time passport, you have to go down to Jamaica to do that. To expedite it, you have to go down to Jamaica. Overseas, they only provide normal service.
But yeah, as I said, the only thing I think is that the other sporting bodies, like we said, the netballers, I think less than a year they got a couple netballers who change allegiance and come and play for Jamaica, and other sporting bodies seems to be able to acquire their players faster and sooner than when Reggae Boys is trying to acquire players.
They're singing from the same sheet of music. All I have to do, you see what Roy Simpson is doing in the press. I mean, I'm gonna call out his name, and he's doing things and talking without the players' permission. Then the things don't go on with the other bodies. That shouldn't be happening. Period. Everybody should be singing from the same sheet of music. All right. Now, let me touch on the next one. And Devon Porter is here and a couple other people that know it. Our problem, and we need to mature from this. Don't let the press and all these people take me for idiot. We're all educated, smart, intelligent men and women. Do not let them sucker us into this local versus foreign thing. It's an idiot business thing that we are more intelligent than that. What is going on right now, right? Currently, there are players who were born, raised, played schoolboy football in Jamaica, even played in JPL, and them go overseas, and all of a sudden, we forget about them. And we act like them not even playing good ball. Can't get a call up. How do you have Javon East, who was playing in Costa Rica? We are short strikers and we're going to Nicaragua. Can't get the call up. But now when he plays clear on the other side of the world in Israel, he said, all right, Javon, we want to bring you in for the Unity Cup squad. You need to choose players based on their recent form. And does he belong to be in the Unity Cup squad? Yes. But why did you ignore him a year and a half ago? The bias and the lack of intelligence in the squad selection is not whether the player is born in Jamaica or not. It's they simply need to choose players by their recent form. I'm an Andre Blake supporter. If Andre Blake start playing for India and him drop form, listen, drop him from the World Cup squad. He's not ready. Choose players based on recent form, and you're going to take out the whole bias.
Well, Dwight, that may be challenging.
If Ravon Morrison was in the Dubai 3rd Division or the UAE 3rd Division and was scoring 25 to 30 goals, that's form. You bring him in, even though the league is a lower league. But if he's over there doing average, guess what? Right? It don't belong there.
So Dwight, based on Dwight, let me the devil's advocate. By your analogy and perspective, would Bailey be in the team?
Yeah, I think Leon's dealing with some.
He's not on form. Leon hasn't been playing a lot of football. Leon has been on form and been on the bench a lot.
Cracky, he's in the EPL, Cracky, and when he does play, he
point. But I'm just asking you. If you said regardless of where they play,
Bailey's form over the.
Go ahead.
but Cracky, Bailey's form over the past 3 to 6 months is better than a lot of our wingers that we have in our player pool.
Okay.
Period. All right. And no.
Well, I don't know about that anymore because if we bring in Tyrese Campbell and a few of those players, they're different levels, though, right? They're different levels. The levels do matter.
Okay,
right?
but you know what, Cracky? You let them go into camp and battle for the position. Simple.
True.
All right. Let me give you another thing, another factor. With the press, don't let the press fool you on this one. We have different depth at different positions. Right now, we're not deep at the number 9. Right now, we're not deep at right back. So you can be in a lesser league and make Jamaica's squad as a number 9 and a right back because we're not deep in those positions. But we are loaded with wingers. Left, right winger, we have enough of them. Right? So it depends on the position where the player plays and the need of our squad and the depth of our squad. Do not pay attention to, as CC said, don't look at where the player born. Different positions have different needs. And we are deep at some and we're not as deep at others. Simple. Right? Tyreek McGee, for example. Tyreek McGee is our 8th best creative midfielder right now. The man played on a regulated team in the JPL. He's probably like our 8th best central best midfielder, strictly based on his form over the past 7 months. Right? Don't let me talk about him look good at GSC 8 years ago. Brother, we deal with 3 to 6 months ago, not 8 years ago. Recent form. And we're going to be all right.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be all right, but obviously, logically.
But we as fans need to mature up, and be more intelligent. Don't let McClaren and the DFF prey on our emotions and have us out there. Oh, we need JFF. Come on, man, stop it.
What's your thoughts on Ravel, Dwight? What's your thoughts on Ravel? What's your thoughts on Ravel?
Mike, all right, be careful with this one. Great player, great talent. I don't think he's good in the locker room. I'll be honest. I think he has demonstrated that across different teams, different clubs.
What if he's okay in the locker room now? What if he's okay in the locker room now? Because I was told he's okay. So what is he okay now? Not giving any problem. What if he's okay now in the locker room and not giving problems? So he's matured.
It depends on whether him head chip out or not, brother. If it chip out on the wrong moment, then you're done. And I said, and to me as a fan, as a coach, the number 1 player on any team is team chemistry. Number 1 player. You could have, if we have Messi in our squad and Messi interrupts the team's chemistry, brother.
Dwight, you go too far now.
Hey, because Cranky, when Argentina was losing, or if they're losing, sometimes Messi and the others, they're not playing well together. Team
no, I agree. And Messi was a problem child at Barcelona. If you don't realize it, Messi was a problem child something at Barcelona.
Cranky, exactly.
But his talent was so good that you put up with certain things you wouldn't put up with normally from certain players.
All right, but can we agree on this? Jamaica has no Messiah. We don't have any player that is so good at the world or even at the top.
Mr. Spence, the Messiah is coming.
Who that?
MG. I'm going to attack MG Sports. MG.
The Messiah is coming.
What chance?
The Stevie after they jump the reggae boy is coming.
Tigger, don't let them play on our emotions, brother. Me and you know, be intelligent enough, know that MG is not going to be able to take over a game against no top level opponent and dominate the place. Him not that. If he was,
so Dwight, you
were doing so good, you know. You were doing so good.
He was.
Dwight, I want a friendly bet. I want a friendly bet on that one.
Cranky, 2 red stripe on that one.
No, I'm not drink.
All right, we don't drink. All right.
You have to feel some pain. You can't. When you feel some pain, you can't just take a red stripe now on pain. If me a bet you have to be real pain, you have feel. I feel some pain. You can't do that. May I tell you, so if Macy come, that ball be hitting the net. So long as he get the ball in good position,
Regular.
that ball gonna hit the net. Hey, the last goal him scored at France, you know. What if I go there?
No.
It's suspense. When Damari Gray hit Jamaica, he hit some wonderful goal. And since Damari Gray went to Saudi, he wasn't playing. If Damari Gray was still in England playing, would have a different Damari.
Yeah.
Because Damari Gray was scoring some goal. That's where it was like, I had when Damari was on the field, it's like we said, we're gonna score a goal after score. I'm still have that belief when Damari Gray is on the field because I see Damari Gray score a goal out of nothing. Then it's like you want to hold him cross and score.
Now, look, I get Dwight's point about Mason from the context of he's not gonna be the one doing a lot of the ball handling. People forgetting the ball, but trust me, in terms of finishing, he has few comparative in world football in terms of finishing. Few comparative people in world football in terms of finishing.
Consider him one of the top 10 best finishers in the world right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. No. He's a ridiculous. That's why Alex first was talking about now. Alex first talk about the way he shoots and how low he shoots and how accurate he shoots and how hard he shoots. The kid hurt himself by what happened with the situation. But if he come to CONCACAF, and look, CONCACAF has bad fields for some places. We may not give him the ball in good position, but you will see his ability to score things which you would not necessarily consider clear-cut chances, for example, which is important.
All right, Cranky, can we agree with this? And I haven't watched MG in Europe, right? Ligue 1 is probably what, the 4th best league in Europe?
Probably.
Okay. Would you say he's completely dominating that league?
He has about 20-something goal contribution, about 32 games, something like that.
Top goal scorer.
That's about 25 goal contribution, I think, in about 33 games, somewhere around there. Those are ridiculous numbers in any league.
And he's not playing on the best team.
Right, so that's an excellent return, right? That's an excellent.
No, his return is excellent. Yeah, man. Right? Think about it. It's a new league for him, too. It's a new league, too.
Right, and so then the other question is, can he translate that form over to the national team specifically?
That's a fair question. It's a fair question because we saw Bailey doing really well in Bundesliga. Yeah. We saw Bailey doing excellent at Aston Villa 1 year and hasn't translated. But I would say this about him though. He's such a natural goal scorer because even if he's not playing well, because he doesn't run back as much as he should, because he has deficiencies, right? He puts the ball in it. Right foot, left foot, either can't. He's just a ridiculous goal scorer.
But all right, hold on, Mr. Spence. Hold on, Mr. Spence. Let me kind of defend Bailey. He never want to do this because I'm a friend. Let me kind of defend him.
No.
All right, hold on. When Bailey dropped Aston Villa, who was the coach? Steven Gerrard was the coach. I think Steven Gerrard kind of break him. You understand? Break his mentality. You understand? I have the man on the bench, and then when the new coach come over, him start over again. Don't forget that. Steven Gerrard is the one that made the man look silly at Aston Villa in the beginning. You understand? Don't forget that.
The one thing I say about this is that Jamaican people in general, I'm going to generalize, have so many excuses for certain players. It's amazing.
An excuse.
So Mason Greenwood went from England under tremendous pressure and situation to Spain, was their player of the season for the team he played for, to France, where he has ridiculous numbers. That's consistent quality.
Hold on. The coach gave Mason Greenwood a chance to prove himself, and then do. Steven Gerrard never give Bailey the chance to do what him supposed to do. Never.
Was he performing? Was he performing?
Hold on. And when he play, he play out of position.
Other coach give him the chance. What's the point? Emery give him
the chance.
Coach?
Okay, so wait. So do the coaches for Jamaica give him the chance? Wait.
So what he did last season when Emery give him the chance? He had a prolific season.
Contract year.
33% doesn't do it. 33% doesn't do it.
Question for you, gentlemen. Can Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Shamar Nicholson, Michael Antonio, MG, who am I thinking there? Isaac Hayden, can they play well together and thrive in a Reggae Boys jersey? That's the question we need to ask. Not looking at them as individuals. Look at them as a cohesive team. And can those players, what's the word I'm looking for, Cranky? Complement each other and play cohesive together with each other.
So here's my view on that. Here's my view on that. So I consider international teams to be all-star teams. Like a Real Madrid, for example. Even though Real Madrid has more time to build cohesion and build camaraderie and build a team, right? Like all-star. Barcelona is an all-star team. Barcelona complements the academy with go get some excellent players and their team.
But in the Gold Cup, you have time to put the players together.
Well, that's the thing. So the point I'm trying to make is this: if the players are good enough to me, and the players are all focused on the same objective, and they get buy-in from the coach, I expect, like a Louis Baker, for example, was a 1-in-3 historical record in terms of goals are contributed as a midfielder. Doesn't play a ton of defense. Mason Greenwood probably has a similar number of better numbers. As you mentioned, Bailey and Gray. I'm not bringing Antonio, because if he comes in, I don't expect a lot from him. Hayden anchoring the midfield. I don't know Jonathan Russell. I've been watching him play a lot, but he gets a lot of kudos. The point I'm trying to make, we have good enough players, not saying to win the tournament, but to really compete well.
All right, Frank.
But you know, sir, to answer that question, yes, we could look at it like this. I think some of the players that we see, some players similar to other countries who are switching, right? We look at Adamola Lookman, who went down to, I think, Atalanta. He has 26 goal contribution this season. The other guy, Mason Green, would have 28 goal contribution. When Lookman has transitioned that farm into Nigeria, and remember, Lookman is also a player that would have been heritage player for Nigeria. I think I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between Lookman and those guys who are of the same type of quality, like Mason Greenwood and those guys, translating their club farm into playing for Nigeria and those countries, as opposed to the other guys translating their farm for Jamaica in the CONCACAF.
Yeah, I think Lookman blossomed a little bit later, right? Lookman blossomed later, didn't he?
That's a good question, CC, and I'll tell you a couple of things, okay? There are a couple of factors that you have to factor in. Traveling from London to Lagos or from Europe to Lagos, you don't have to change time zones, okay? Jet lag just comes out of the picture, okay? That's number one. Number two, African football is slightly different, but they're familiar with it. One of the big unique challenges we have in CONCACAF, other teams get it, South American teams get it, is some players take a while to get used to the jet lag of traveling across the Atlantic and doing those things. The second thing they need to get adjusted to is the style of football and how the referees call the game in the CONCACAF region, because it is different than the UK and it is different than continental Europe. I didn't say better, I said different. And some players...
I agree with the refereeing, because in this region, more is allowed in the game to happen, right? England has gone to the point of being at the NBA. Frankly. You can't touch anybody in the NBA anymore. That's the way England plays. But in CONCACAF and in South America, they allow much more. They get away with much more before they get a yellow card or a red card. So it's a more physical game.
So there is two adjustments that any...
Yeah, I'm going to give you a number 3 too. Another reason is that the Lookmans and the African players, they're in England much younger. So they're there from a younger age, so they adapt more. So it's easier for them to make the transition over when they go back to play for the countries in Africa. I think that's a big reason. They're playing at a higher level much longer than our players.
Some of them. I mean, the Wobbies and the Lookmans are brought up in English system, right?
They're brought up in English system, so they have a like an edge there.
Cranky and Eddie Good, I'll tell you one thing I was surprised, and it took me a couple trips to England, and I've met some people who are there. I was actually surprised at the amount of professional footballers or young people, I would just say young people of Caribbean descent, whether they're professional footballers or not, that are between ages 17 to 27. In some cases, both players are Jamaican who have never been to Jamaica in their life.
That's not surprising.
And at first I was thinking, okay, maybe they don't have money to do it. No, simply they just choose to go to vacations or holidays, other places, and they're not familiar with Jamaica. Yes, they're familiar with Jamaican culture, especially in the UK and things like that, but they've never been to Jamaica.
Well, there are a
Or
couple of
if
things,
they've
right?
been to Jamaica, they can probably count it on one hand.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things there. One was about money for their forefathers and their parents, for example, because it's expensive to go to Jamaica from England. The standard of living there is not what people think it is as compared to some other countries. And third, the Moroccos of the world, some of those vacation spots which people go to a lot of times are probably cheaper, much more well known, and people frequent, right? People frequent Spain, people frequent Morocco, they frequent Egypt and those places. This is on the other side of the world. And that's why it's not received as well. It's a shorter distance to go to some of those countries than coming here also. So there are a lot of different reasons. Because I have family in England who never come to Jamaica. Never. I have family in England who have never been to Jamaica. The parents went there in the late 50s, early 60s. Their second generation never been to Jamaica. And by the way, when they come though, they come. So when they come, they'll stay for a month or 3 weeks, and they'll come back every year, every other year. So what Dwight is indicating is that there got to be a better job done, maybe by the tourist board and others, to influence and encourage people to come visit. Because I'm telling you, when they come, they love it. Most of them that I know, including some of my relatives, and they stay for a very long period.
Yeah, they have a good. They like it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to know, do I
But
Spence?
it's surprising.
No, I was saying the players that are playing
Repeat
in
that,
League One,
CC.
right? Yeah, the players that are playing in League One, right? We know the physicality of the leagues below the Premier League level. There's more games, and the physicality is a bit more than in the Premier League, and I think they allow you to play a bit more. Do you not think that players who play in the League One and Championship translate better into the Jamaica national team than some of the players that are actually Premier League players?
So they might translate better into the Jamaican national team. It doesn't make the transition to CONCACAF easier. Because
I don't think so. I don't think so, Dwight, because most of them come through those leagues. Most of them come through those leagues. Think about all the players you're thinking about, CC. Whether it's Pinnock, whether it's Dexter Dapp, whether it's Amari Bell, they all come through the lower leagues.
But the reason why I asked this in a cranky is that we're going to get some players that possibly just come through the academy and went through the PL2 U21 system and never really experienced League One or Championship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
they ain't gonna be I can't see them picking them, no matter what we all think. They're picking them.
Okay.
I'm just see them picking. But it's a good point, but I don't see them picking them.
Let's give an example. Tyrese Campbell, the one from Charlton. I don't think he's played European football, and I don't think he's played too much football. I would have to look and see when I think he came through Man City or somewhere like that. Whether he's played any football over here in the Americas or playing the CONCACAF region. It's an adjustment for these guys. A lot, you have to factor in. Some players adjust quickly. Depends on their mentality. Have they visited the Caribbean region? Are they aware of how it is, the heat and dealing with the pitches? Have they seen that before? Or the players who come over and they're a little bit naive towards what they're going to experience, right? Or how coachable they are, or what's the key thing? What's their adaptability? And that's
why people like Ravel are important, because they have that experience. But I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
Repeat it against Cranky.
I said that's why people like Ravel are important, because I'm just saying they're experienced.
No, Cranky. Ravel has experience of driving in van back and drinking in coconut. But as I said, the only problem with Ravel, him head chip out sometime, brother.
Yeah, no, we don't disagree now. But you head chip out. Here's the thing people don't understand, and Dwight mentioned this before. If I'm K. Roy Anderson and I'm flying how much hours every single time I sit up on bench, what's my incentive? Seriously, what's my incentive?
Him get with his family, Cranky. And get some KFC.
Hey, Eddie and Cranky, you bring up a good point, One of the things with certain mentalities of some of these players that can come in, are they ready to travel across the Atlantic and battle for the position? Are they ready to sit a bench? Or are they thinking, listen, Jamaica called me, why am I not starting? Because
it's part of the job, man. It's part of the job. Sometimes you have to sit on the bench and wait for your opportunity. It's part of the job.
But Eddie, may I tell you right now, and enough people said some of these men not ready for back for. Listen, some of them, the very reason why they choose to play for Jamaica, they don't want to back up for the position.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I respect the ballers who come in at the U17, U20 level, Alamba Keys and all that. That would say, hold on, I hear somebody want to play for Emil Bakker for the spot. No bad attitude, no kiss up face, no. I have personal matters.
No, but to be fair, Dwight, I've interviewed both Lambakisa and K. Roy. Best kids, like ridiculous, religious, spiritual, discipline. Yeah. They're exceptions. Seriously, they're exceptions.
Cranky, I love Lambakisa as a player and as a person. He's two-footed. He has a wicked left foot and he can switch and use his right foot. He gives you work rate, work ethic, and a good attitude. I'll be honest with you. I would take 15 Lambakisas before I take one Greenwood.
But by the way, I want to ask a question. Tomorrow morning, people, remember tomorrow morning to watch Tyrese Campbell 7 a.m. Battle for a Championship playoff.
No, it's 6 a.m. Jamaica time, isn't it?
No, man, it's 7. Yeah. So, I tell the people them before they go on Sofa Square go watch the baller. Actually, watch the baller. I play the playoff.
I think on ESPN. It coming on ESPN.
It's come by ESPN, man, because I watched the championship playoff this morning. Unfortunate, Tyrese Campbell score, but I think Romy and Mundle, them team come back. They win 2-1. So Sheffield United, the misery continue in the playoff. Then they have not won a playoff to qualify for the Premier League in years. But Sunderland came back up. I want to know if that guy, Romy and Mundle, is appears that he's Jamaican, of Jamaican heritage. He looked very good this morning when I was watching him, the winger. But for Sunderland, I would say this, right? A lot of the guys, for me, is just getting the documentation over the line and actually getting them to come and play, because I think once some of them play and the winning and all of these things get to and they become a part of the history, I don't think anybody's going to go back to the point of do they want to play or do this person not want to play, because once you start to play for a country and play international football, I think that adds to you and adds to your resume. So you people would want to come and play for
depends on the country. Depends on the country.
The game is not ESPN. The game is Paramount in the US and the game is Disney in the Caribbean. Disney
Disney's ESPN, man, cranky. The ESPN is on Disney. Yeah, ESPN is on Disney.
Oh, ESPN is Disney in the Caribbean? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
It's on Paramount in the US.
Oh, Disney in the Caribbean, because I think I have Disney Plus. So, but it has ESPN as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but as
I
I said,
one more thing before I jump off.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Can I say one more thing before I jump off?
Yeah, go ahead.
So just when you if you know players or you hear about players that are interested, tell them to go get the naturalization process done and start that first. And once they get a naturalization certificate, go to Jamaica and take care of your passport. That's the best way to do it. So if you know
one more thing before you go, like Eddie Guna and Tiga, you guys should also lay out the process. I did this on my channel of what the process entails. So people can have references, right?
I did that video.
Eddie, you did that video with Eddie Guna, but I'm just saying, I walk it through and sort of show people the documentation and even build a template as to what you need and what you require. Because I know, do I think that they should be smart enough to do it themselves? But trust me know the key this year.
And the other thing is, the number one thing that they use to start the process is a birth certificate, not a passport. So whether it's a great-grandparent's birth certificate, grandparents' birth certificate, parent or your birth certificate is the first starting point.
Yeah, because you got to get certain things. You got to get just to the piece or lawyer, whatever. Not just certain. There's a bunch of stuff involved in the process that I didn't realize because I didn't go through some of it, to be honest. So I didn't know those things exist. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, may I have a chip out?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
All right, thank you very much, lads.
Yeah, Eddie Guna, CC, Dwight as usual, my cousin, and Tiga, bless up. Thanks for having me.
Bless up, Cranky. Bless up,
CC, I understand the biasness, but you need to tone it down. Bye.
People subscribe to Cranky Live. Go over there and subscribe to Cranky Live.
Bless up, everyone. Thanks for having me. Bless up.
Yeah, bless up.
Bless up. All right, so people, we have to wrap up the show now. It's over 2 hours and 17 minutes. I want to thank everybody that came in, everybody that we have over 200 persons on watching us one at a time. So big up everybody in the we big up Cranky for coming on, big up Dwight for coming on, big up Jason Guna in the building, Travis Presser, you come to school late. You understand? Big up Travis in the building. Big up everybody, Mr. Porter. Big up yourself. I want to big up every single person that took the time out to watch us again on another late tackle. All right, we promise you that we will not try to skip another Saturday. Hopefully,
and big up CC. Big up CC.
Yeah, man, big up CC, man. All right, so big up CC. You understand? Big up CC. Big up yourself, CC. Thank you. One of our best commentator. You understand? In the building, CC. You have to give him props. You understand? So big up everybody. You understand? Thank you guys for joining us. And hopefully next week, yeah, we'll be on because Unity Cup will be playing and we're gonna give our report. You understand? So we'll be on our next late tackle. All right, so I want to big up everybody.
Look out for the 11, the potential 11 videos.
And the potential, the potential 11 and all them things there. So guess what? Big up everybody that joined us today. Hope you guys had a tremendous Labor Day. My holiday come up Monday. So hopefully I can drop 2 videos Monday. You understand? For you guys can enjoy.
Holiday.
Memorial.
The foreign holiday.
Yeah, the foreign holiday. Yeah, so my holiday I drop tomorrow. So big up yourself and much respect to everybody. This is another episode, the 25th episode of Late Tackle. Eddie Gouda and I want to say much respect and thank you all for joining us. Big up yourself and also CC. Big up yourself.